Hi guys, my name is Donna and I am back today with another video. So this video is actually going to be more of a talking video. I'm going to just be going over kind of how my weight loss journey started and how it's going as of right now. So my weight loss journey has kind of been an off and on stop and go journey since I was really young. I'm talking like I was 12, 13. As most little kids, I kind of grew up around parents who were bigger, and so my mom was always doing like fall dieting. So not really always, but I do remember specifically like those like shake things, like the Special K diet. I don't remember it lasting for a long time, but I do remember that. And things had really started to alter a little bit whenever I got to junior high. So I was never like the skinny kid in the group. I wasn't like bigger, but I was, a little bit chubbier. And I'll put a picture right here on that of what I'd look like whenever I was around like 12, 13. And then, so I was like crazy obsessed with the idea of losing weight so I could be skinny like my friends. I always have been self-conscious about my fingers because they've always been a bit chubby. And so I would constantly be like trying to lose weight because I thought that would magically make my fingers skinny and make my stomach skinny and flat. And this had kind of caused me to fall into kind of a really unhealthy way of living where it was more of like a binge and restrict diet where I would eat a whole bunch of food and then feel like crap and then wouldn't want to eat, or I'd like obsessively do workouts on YouTube. I remember I would get like, I was like 12 and I would get email newsletters from like Jillian Michaels and Suzanne Summers and MyFitnessPal and Smart Weight. I don't remember what it was called at the time. It was like Smart People or Spark People. It was like this weight loss thing. It was very similar to like FitnessPal, but it was a little bit different in that aspect, that it was really kind of just a community. Honestly, I don't remember that. Like, if I would have been an adult, like looking to losing weight, like it would have been like kind of a different experience than how my memory remembers it, because I remember it being kind of, when I was younger, I didn't think anything of it, but looking back, like I was 11, 12 years old, instead of like focusing on like real hobbies, I was just obsessed with my weight, obsessed with the way that my body looked instead of the way my body felt. And then things started to kind of change a little bit too with that, because I remember in 8th grade, my friend Selena wanted to go and learn more about the cross-country program, so I went with her. And whenever we got there, the coach was like, "Do you really think that you can run more than a mile?" And I did like track, but I was a thrower. I just kind of threw stuff, which is kind of where they put the people who couldn't run. And so he made that comment, and I was thinking to myself, like, well, I was only here to support my friend who wanted to go to the summer program and learn more about this, but now I need to prove something here. I can do this. Let me go ahead and do this. And over the course of that time, like, I was really like kind of pushing myself with it, and I did go through the whole season. And in that time frame, I dropped to my lowest weight as like a teenager / adult, at about 159 pounds, 149. It was around that range. I don't remember specifically what it was, but I remember still feeling fat. Like I remember still feeling fat, because now I'm like comparing myself to an entirely different group of people, as in I'm comparing myself to cross-country runners who are running long distance. And well, yeah, I was doing the same thing. I had just started over the course of that summer and into that fall, where a lot of the people I'm seeing had been running long distance and had been doing other sports like softball and basketball and stuff like that. Over the course of that freshman year of high school, my fitness level had really gotten better, and I had also really learned to enjoy running. It started out as an out of spite thing, but I really did learn to love the sport. I never really got the whole competition thing, though. I'm sure that my coach can back me up on that. Like, I wasn't by no means the fastest runner. And I also by no means felt like I actively was like trying to compete. I think my real goal every single race was really just to get through it so that I could continue to prove that I could do it. I didn't care if I finished at last, but I was going to finish the race regardless, even if I had to stop and walk a little bit. And to me, like, even looking back, like, I do still think that that was not necessarily the perfect decision, but I respect the decision. At least, like, I would always insist on powering through, and that's what really mattered. I also ended up doing basketball that year, which caused me to really enjoy even the aspect of strength training, because we did that a lot during conditioning. And when I did track and field, I actually did long distance running versus my normal throwing. I also totally think that he rigged the system so that I was basically guaranteed to get my letter, because I finished dead last in a race and I got a ribbon just because I got within 6, so I placed, but there was only 6 runners. And there was 7, but one randomly dropped out. Don't know. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, but I almost feel like it was. And so from here, I had actually kind of gone and went into homeschool. And I actually continued to do running for a bit when I had started to develop these muscle spasms on both sides of my body. I still have them to this day. They randomly go in and out. We haven't been able to place quite what's causing it, but it basically makes running just really difficult. I've still will run on occasion. I want to actually get more into that in the future. But first I want to focus on like actually focusing more so on my nutrition, because as you can hear from this, high school years, and this goes for even after like I was homeschooled, this would have gone for the entire duration. I focused a lot on my physical training. So when I started having the issues with my side muscle spasms, I switched into doing more of like strength training. And I really enjoyed that. But my nutrition was always like a binge and restrict. I really never quite nailed that. And this is actually like something that I've really, really tried to hone in on this year. And so that kind of brings me more so to the last 4 or 5 years. So fast forward, high school graduation, I'm actually pregnant with my son. I graduate high school, I get through my pregnancy, and afterwards I'm weighing about 202, which was roughly what I actually weighed before I was pregnant. And I had postpartum depression and gained more weight instead of losing weight. From here, I knew I wanted to do something about this, but still didn't quite know where to go. You'd think with someone who is getting so many resources emailed to me every day for so long that I would actually have like an inkling of knowing what to do. But I felt almost less aware now than I did before, because at this point, like keto's like the thing. Everyone's doing keto. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea of it. It just didn't seem healthy to reduce like fruit and certain vegetables because of the fact that they contain sugar. I had considered going like vegetarian or vegan, but with my household, that function like that lifestyle / diet really wouldn't have worked for my family, because of the fact of my family's all meat eaters. They really like their food. They love meat. They love cheeseburgers. They love chicken. It wasn't really a concern on my part. I was okay with kicking out, animal protein, and eggs and like milk. It wasn't something that necessarily bothered me. But then I would also read the exact opposite. So, oh no, like doing vegan, just not good for the body. You need the protein from meat. And like that's what I had found, was I would find something that I thought might be a good idea, but it wasn't, because there was always someone else who said the exact opposite. And so from this point, I honestly just kind of ignored my nutrition just like I did in high school, and I started working out. And as I'm working out, I'm not really losing much weight. And if I am, it's just a little bit here and there. Physically, I feel fit. I felt fit, but I wasn't. My nutrition was crap. I was either binging or I was restricting, and I just wasn't happy. I was depressed. I didn't feel great. And this kind of actually continued for multiple years. And I had finally started to build like a really good workout program, and then COVID hit. That ends. From here, it almost gets worse. Like I'm gaining weight instead of even maintaining at this point. Because for a while there, I was able to just maintain around a 200 to 210. I lose my job. COVID's still kind of happening. I'm working in a food environment, so I'm constantly around like greasy and fatty food, so I'm constantly eating that. I feel like I'm leaping at the chance to get free food and just eating it all. And then I'm hitting around 250. Like at this point, it is 2021, and I'm 250 pounds. So I get a new job. It's a work from home job. I finally just go, okay, something's got to give. I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate the way my body looks in pictures. I hate the fact that I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to eat right. I don't want to go do anything. I don't even want to hang out with my friends half the time at this point. I have no money. I'm financially not in a good place. So something's got to give. So I finally go ahead and I start working on my mental health. I get in contact with, like all these different mental health apps, and I'm trying to figure out like what the best thing is for my headspace. And at this point, like, I don't try to diet. I don't try to exercise. I'm just going to focus on getting my mental health right. Because at the end of the day, if I don't feel good in my own skin and I don't feel good waking up in the morning, how am I supposed to pour into these other cups? I've also got a child who needs me to pour into them, and I'm not even pouring into myself. So I'm working on my mental health. I'm talking to people actively about it. I am reaching out. I'm journaling. I'm meditating. And then we're hitting about middle of 2022, pushing about September, October-ish. And I'm like, okay, I think that my mental health is great. I'm really loving my job. I love waking up in the morning and being able to do my job, be able to be with Oliver, being able to do this. I no longer feel so self-conscious in my own skin that I hate seeing pictures of me. No, I don't love them, but I've learned to love the skin that I'm currently in. And then I go to my first rave. And I have the absolute time of my life. I see all these gorgeous outfits. I want to wear them all. And then I see pictures of the weekend, and I'm like, okay, I don't love the way that my body looks right now. I want to love the body I'm wearing. And sorry, the video had kind of cut out on there. So fast forward. So it was about October when I had realized I really wanted to kind of start putting some emphasis on my more of like nutrition. But then what I had kind of decided to go from there was in February, I was finally when I had made the switch, and I was like, okay, let's go ahead and we're going to try Weight Watchers. I had done it once before, but I failed miserably at it, but I was in a lot worse of a mental headspace at the time. And so I went ahead and I was like, okay, let's go ahead and try it again. Let's see how things go this time. Things were a lot different. I found accounts on Instagram to follow. The one that I've always, the one I really like the most is like Ashley Tracks Points. And then I had also found some other ones on there as well. I'll include some down in the description of some of them I found that really, really helpful. And since February, I have now lost 53 pounds. 52 pounds. It's 52 or 53. But I am down 52 pounds. And I feel so much better. I'm able to feel more confident in my outfits. I've really started to branch out with some of the outfits that I do wear to festivals. Not really festivals, shows. I haven't gone to a festival yet, but I do have my first one this year, which I will document on here as well. And so now I'm roughly like about 40 pounds till goal. So I am over halfway done as far as for reaching goal. And I do think that once I reach goal or get closer to goal, I might even start it here soon. I'll document it if I do. I want to start focusing more on my actual physical fitness. So doing things, weightlifting, running, trying to decide what I want to get back into. And I want to ease into it. So I don't know if that's going to look like starting with just adding walking, or if that's going to maybe starting with running or weight training. But I do know that that is what is still to come. And what I would honestly say would be my biggest piece of advice that I would have given, younger me, not 12-year-old me, because 12-year-old me should not have been focused that much on my body and what I look like. But what I would have given myself when I was feeling so bad and I was mentally and physically struggling is I would have told myself to just start small. Don't try to do all these random things all at once. Do what I did when I did do it, but do it sooner. I would have just told myself hey, I understand that you feel this way, but instead of just trying to do a bikini body challenge and still eating like crap, how about first we focus on the inside? Let's be a little bit more intuitive with ourselves. Let's meditate. Let's journal. Let's see what's actually bothering us. Because as someone who's binging and eating and binging and restricting, a lot of it was because I was emotionally not in the right headspace. Because that doesn't really happen anymore. I think the only times I can count that it has, I've been super drunk after a show. Or not really even drunk, but just super late drunk, or just hangry and just ate everything in sight. But those also don't happen quite as much, because when they did, I would go, okay, well, how do I fix that? Let's eat before the show. Let's bring snacks. Let's do this. Now that's not really even an issue. I'm sure that I'll have more issues with it in the future. I'm sure that it may not be something I ever get rid of, but what I have learned to do is to better manage that and have tools in place that help me succeed. A couple of other things that I'd really like to bring up for those who are just starting on their health and wellness journey and really don't know where to start. I would say find communities. There's so many places that you can, and whether you choose to do Weight Watchers or not, there's definitely something there for you. I know that with me personally, Weight Watchers themselves does have the Weight Watchers Connect, where there is a group of people that are also doing Weight Watchers, and you can connect with them, and they have ones for different age groups and different outside hobbies, and it's just a really good place to both connect with those, but you can also ask questions, you can get recipe ideas, and it just makes it so nice whenever you're able to surround yourself with people who are going through the same things that you are, or they're into the same things as you are. There's Facebook groups for this. I know the one that I joined was not Weight Watcher specific. It was just called weight loss motivation. And it was really nice because people would post transformation photos, or they would vent about their struggles. And it always just made things feel really nice to me, because I knew that I wasn't going through things alone, and I was able to support others and they could support me. Instagram is another great place to look for this. There's plenty of accounts that you can go to for motivation, for mental health, for physical wellness, for Weight Watchers if you did that more so specifically. And that's another great place to connect with one another, as well as other social medias like TikTok is another place that you can kind of fine tune your algorithm. That one's a little bit more finicky because you almost have to search for the things that you want to kind of force it. I haven't quite nailed being able to actually get my algorithm what I want it to be, but I'm not really that worried about it. But I also think that goes for even outside of weight loss. I think that or mental health or anything like that. I think that it can also be a great place to meet just other people who have the same hobbies as you. I've used it as a way of creating so many new friends through raves and stuff of that nature, being able to learn about shows because they make different groups for that. There's groups for people who like reptiles and keep reptiles as pets, and it just makes it where it's really nice when you can fine tune your media to actually be what you want to be consuming. And I think that that's something that I would stress for even your mental health. That was actually one of the big things I had done during my mental health time frame, was I went through and I've And I still periodically go through it, and I will remove people who I don't want to be seeing on my feed, whether it's because they're constantly posting stuff that makes me feel bad about myself, whether they mean to or not, and that's okay. I don't have any shade for anyone on Instagram, but there are people that I just kind of bulk unfollowed because I didn't want to. And honestly, a lot of them I'm going to go back and follow again, because some of them, it was just because at that time I did not want to have that there, because I knew that that was something that was going to be a trigger for me. I think that that's important that you do that. You don't even have to necessarily unfollow them. I know with Facebook, you can just kind of have it to where their posts are hidden from you. I actually think Facebook's much better, even for that specifically, just because it can be kind of like weird to unfollow someone, and then if you want to follow them back, they just kind of get that notification. It's a little awkward, especially if it's someone you do know. So I don't think I really unfollowed anyone I knew. Even if I didn't really care for their posts, I would just scroll past them. And I would also try to make it a point to not really go on to social media first thing in the morning. Now I do, but like I said, it's because I have my stuff more fine-tuned, and I'm very selective of which applications I go into. Like, I don't open TikTok because I really don't have much control over what they push at me. But I have a lot of control over Instagram. I have a lot more control over Facebook. I have a lot more control over, like, Weight Watchers. A lot of those things are going to be more so fine-tuned where I can kind of make sure that they're what I want to be viewing. YouTube's another great place where you can kind of just, the more videos you watch of certain types. So if you're mainly watching weight loss motivation, or you're mainly watching Weight Watchers, or you're mainly watching rave content, like, that's what it'll actually start to suggest to you, is stuff that you're already watching. So that's another one where I do think that that's a great place. So sometimes in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee, I'll watch like a Weight Watchers video in the morning. That's actually what it kind of motivated me to start my own channel, is I find a lot of joy in sitting there. And I really like going to more of the smaller accounts just because of the fact that they feel more homey. I really just enjoy them, and I'll include a couple of people down below that aren't necessarily smaller, but are just some of the YouTube channels that I've really been enjoying watching stuff from. And other than that, I would just say to reach out to others, create a community for yourself, even outside of social media. Make sure that the people around you are supportive. My friends are aware of the fact that I'm losing weight, and they're very supportive of that. And in fact, some of them will go and they'll brag about how well I'm doing, and it makes me feel really good knowing how much they support me and that they're proud of my accomplishments. And even though they don't have to actively tell people about it, when they do that and they're like, hey, like, my friend, like, she lost all this weight, and like, I'm so proud of her, and it's like, it just kind of makes you feel special. Versus if you've got a friend who's like, oh, they don't want to go to this place because they don't want to spend their points, or they don't want to do this, or they don't want to do that. Or I've never really actually had that experience with my friends and family, and that's something that I'm really, really grateful for, is that I've honestly had a lot of support within my own area, within my own community, and I've also built a nice social media community where I can also openly discuss my lifestyle choices and my hobbies and feel comfortable doing so. And outside of that, I would just say to go take it one step at a time. And really, that's it. And then if you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you gave me a like and a subscribe. No biggie, no feelings will be hurt here. And then to let me know if there's any videos that you're wanting to hear more of, or any questions that you might have for me on how my journey has been.